Hi, welcome to today's DAX and Ftse analysis for the 15th of May 2023. Let's dive straight in. We'll have a quick recap of both markets and then we'll have a look at the analysis for the day. As you can see from this area here, that was Friday, not really enough movement to take us into anything meaningful. So no trades on the DAX. Jump over to the UK. And here is the Ftse. Again, not enough movement to take us into anything based on how we look at the markets. Now, what that means for today, both on the Ftse and the DAX, is our levels have constricted in, so they're much tighter, meaning we will hopefully see a bit more activity around these levels. So hoping for a bit more of a push into either the R3 or the R2 on the DAX, since we're already above this kind of confluence. If we do go out further, we could look to reject off either of these levels using the price action and other techniques that you might know to take us down to perhaps either the close gap or the other side of the confluence down the bottom, or even the S2. But the chances of that are obviously a little bit less than this confluence here or the close gap, so targeting is obviously up to you. There is a chance that it may not get past these levels here, the breakout long, and it could simply hit the high, so the extreme gap and the close, and continue down, in which case we could look for buys around this sort of low from the previous day, or even the S2, which has been reacting quite nicely. Let's jump over to the UK100, the Ftse. So since we're above these levels here on the Ftse, we're probably going to see a similar reaction on the DAX. So we're hoping for a push into either the R2 or the R3, same again, and then obviously looking to take that down to either the extreme gap if we don't touch it, the close gap, or these levels here. If we do come right down, it could be an opportunity to get long off this confluence down here at the low, or obviously down further. So we're using these levels to basically reject based on the price action and what we see in the markets. It sounds fairly simple, and really it is. These levels here up top are quite valid depending on what we see in the market. The ideal situation is a strong push outside of the Bollinger Bands, predominantly upwards. We can't really, we could take a close gap trade, but there's every chance that this level will hold and it'll keep pushing up. So my preference would be to wait, see if we get these higher levels and take it back down. Because often what the market does is it trades inside of itself. So trading within these levels, you might spike out a little bit and then retrace back into that same sort of pricing area, unless you're having a really bullish or bearish run. So right now we're fairly steady. I'll jump over to a daily so we can have a quick look at the position of the market. As you can see, we've kind of touched the Bollinger Band on the low, which kind of indicates that we could be coming up. I'm not overly convinced on that for a longer term position, but based on this, there could be further movement upwards until we get to this sort of higher level up here. Check out the weekly. The last touch was back here on the low, so we haven't actually hit the high Bollinger Band, which says to me we could still have a long bias. We'll check some of the other time frames. So we've got the H4, obviously a nice push outside of this Bollinger Band on the 4 hour into one of these levels. So ideally the R3, but it's a bit of a stretch. That could be a really strong indication that we're going to see some selling back in the market because it's pushed so far out of the normal pricing area. So on a 5-minute chart, we're just sort of waiting for the open now. I'll quickly scan through the higher time frames on the DAX. The last position hit, it was kind of very close on the high, meaning we'll be looking for shorts after that sort of a period. But there's probably more strength in the bottom touches to bring it up higher until we meet this other side of the Bollinger Band. So once we hit this sort of upper area, such as here, even kind of there, it hit it there, we look for a short bias, so something to give us reason to look for shorts in the market. On the daily, we're sort of stalling around this 16,000 price mark. We're not really getting too much motion either way. On the 4 hour, we'd really need a push to the R3 to get anything out of the 4 hour Bollinger Band. Have a look at the 1 hour. A 1 hour spike outside could be the R2, which is still good, but of course we're always trying to chase a bigger move at that open so that we have a bit more confirmation, a bit more retracement to give us a bit more space in the market to make a profit. Anyway, that's enough from me, guys. Good luck trading today, and enjoy.